Good morning, everyone. Today, it's the Master Builder Show, sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. I'm your host, Jim Gibson. I'm the president of the Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, a registered builder in the state of Texas, a graduate master builder certified by the National Association of Home Builders, also a member of the U.S. Green Building Council and the North Texas Green Building Council. Today's topic is going to be wind power and wind generators and what we can do with wind to help us out with our energy. My guests today are Ed Smith. He's with Renewable Energy Products, and Mac Davis with MHD Construction.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you?
Great today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. We'd like to answer any questions y'all might have out there on wind power today. We're going to try to cover the subject as thoroughly as we can. You can reach us at 877-341-8950. That's 877-341-8950. And if you need to check out a builder or a remodeler, you can go to my website at www.masterbuildershow.com. There, it'll take you into my main web page, and over on the left-hand side up the top of the column is a little thing that says TRCC. You can click on that, go right into the TRCC website, and you can make sure a builder's registered and check him out. Anyway, we're going to talk about wind generators to start with. Ed?
Thank you for having me again.
All right.
I do small wind under 10 kW.
Under 10 kW?
Under 10,000 watts. And mainly residential.
Okay.
These aren't the big ones that you see going down the road.
All right.
These aren't the big ones there. And it's not something that you want to put on top of your roof either.
Well, you're normally putting them on what size tower?
40 to 120 feet.
40 to 120. What kind of noise do those things make? I mean, do you want them fairly close to your house, or you want them away from your house, or where do you normally put them?
Not more than 500 feet.
Okay.
The wire runs get a little long.
Well, you'd lose a lot of power, I guess, due to the resistance of the wire.
And the copper gets expensive,
Copper gets expensive. Mac, have you ever used any wind power?
No, I haven't. I've seen a lot of it going in, but I've talked to people about it, putting it in, that they need it. But.
Well, I think, if you can get by the initial investment, because wind power is probably the greatest source of energy we have. It exceeds energy consumption if we just tap it. And you see all these big blades going down the street now on these trucks, so they're putting in these big wind generator farms.
Yes.
That are supplying energy to, I guess, they're supplementary energy right now, not supplying a lot of it, but I know it's coming up.
Yeah, it's probably supplying areas in that.
Well, the thing is, you can go out in areas that you don't have electricity and put those things up too, and supply power to areas that can't be reached by a normal.
Right, with a battery-based system, you can charge the batteries with a wind turbine. You can charge the batteries with even a fuel cell.
Kind of explain to us the basic process. When you go out on the site, you're looking for what speed of wind normally? I mean, you have to have a pretty well constant speed, or
you need at least 9 miles an hour wind to make this. Average wind speed to make this worth your while. We have around 12.5 to 14 mile an hour average wind around here.
Okay, that generates how much power?
It's according to how big a turbine you get.
So how much money do you have, right?
Right. I sell SkyStream. It's made by Southwest Wind Power out of Flagstaff, Arizona. They have a 2,000 watt SkyStream. It's been out for about a year.
Okay.
One of those units will put out around 400 kilowatt hours per month.
400 kilowatt per month. What size does it take, like it just to run your refrigerator?
Refrigerator probably runs it draws about 350 watts.
So 350 watts. So a 2,000 watt would handle it.
Well, what it does, these systems tie to the grid. These systems tie to the grid. And you use what energy you're producing before you spin your meter.
Okay, all right.
So it's not actually that you're running a refrigerator at one time, or that you're running a certain appliance at one time. You use what energy you're producing before you spin the meter. And if you're not using a lot in your house, you can actually spin your meter backwards for a little bit.
Do they need to build like a extra room to store all the batteries in? I mean, how much room does the batteries take up?
Batteries do take a lot of maintenance. You need a vented room.
Do you need it air conditioned, heated, and all that, or you just vented?
Mainly vented.
Okay.
They usually stay warm enough that they won't freeze.
That would be the main problem in the winter. If it got down low 20 or in 30s, it freeze the batteries.
Right.
Or kill the batteries, like it does on our cars most of the time. Mac, nothing? I thought you were going to jump in there.
What does the heat do to these batteries? Do they shorten the life of them that we have around here?
Sure it does.
Yeah.
I guess coal would kill them more than the heat would, though, wouldn't it? Normally. That's where we seen most of our batteries go out, I think, is in the wintertime.
Good battery maintenance is what you really need to look for. You need to keep the electrolyte level up on them.
So how much maintenance are we talking about? A weekly maintenance, monthly maintenance, quarterly maintenance, or
monthly maintenance?
Pretty well monthly.
You need to check the electrolyte level, and this is mainly for battery-based systems that you're charging the batteries. And with a battery-based system, you can have a grid tie also.
Okay.
So where the battery-based system started,
well, you'd have to have batteries to. Well, it's not like solar, so you don't need sunlight. As long as the wind blows and the batteries are charged, you'd have electricity.
Right. When the wind generators turn, if you got a battery-based system, the wind generator puts out wild voltage. It's putting out a lot of voltage at some times and little voltage at other times. So you have to have a charge controller.
Okay.
That evens it out to 24, 48 volts, whatever system you're using.
So the generators are actually generating DC power that actually charges the batteries, and you've got an inverter on that converts it back to AC and to 110. Can you run 220 items off of a wind generator?
Yes, you can.
All right. So you could actually run a air conditioning system off of it if you had a big enough generator.
You got enough battery power.
What size room, as far as would we need just to do like I've been told that a good system would be 10,000 watts, and that would handle most of the things we do in the house. Is that correct?
Yeah, and if you lost the grid, even you could probably run most of the appliances in your house.
And the air conditioning system, or
air conditioners, they drag a lot of power.
Well, yeah,
they really drag a lot of power.
Well, it depends on your system. I mean, we've got units that pull about 6 watts to heat, and then you can hit to 60 watts. And it looks like we've got to take our first break here. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
YourCircleOfWealth.com. A recent study by one of the world's largest financial institutions estimates that over 90% of baby boomers will not retire financially independent. We have prepared a financial report entitled Your Circle of Wealth. Learn how changing the way you manage your money can dramatically increase your wealth. To get a copy, you may go to www.yourcircleofwealth.com and enter the passcode Gibson, Gibson. That's yourcircleofwealth.com.
Fort Worth Lighting, serving the building professional in Parker, Wise, Palo Pinto, and surrounding counties. Services include planned takeoff, site walkthrough, and delivery. For an appointment with a Fort Worth Lighting consultant, the number is 817-597-6320, or the website is fortworthlighting.com. Again, it's 817-597-6320 for Fort Worth Lighting.
North Texas Basements, 817-770-2768. With over 30 years of experience in residential construction, add extra living area, storm protection, and extra room that will be easy to heat and cool without needing a large piece of ground to build on. Think about having a basement in your next home. North Texas Basements, 817-770-BSMT or 817-770-2768. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116. Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. My guest today is Ed Smith with Renewable Energy Products and Mac Davis with MHD Construction. Our topic today is wind power. We're talking about wind generators and how to generate power with the blowing breezes. And he said it takes about an average of 9 miles an hour is what you want, and our average in this area is about 12 miles an hour.
Right.
And we were talking during the break about the newest technology coming out on, you were talking about the generators generating different wattages depending on the speed of the wind or speed of the turbine. And they've got some new systems coming out that you say regulate that going into your battery string.
And you don't even need batteries with these new microprocessor-based systems.
No, they're just tied. You tie directly into the grid.
Ties directly into the grid. You take that wild voltage that's coming out of the wind turbine, and the inverter turns it into grid power and feeds it back into the grid.
All right.
Do you need another room to store this microprocessor, or can it be in the house?
No, it's mainly a box that sits on the wall. Mainly a 2x2 box that sits on the wall that you wire on up to, and the SkyStream, it's like a plug and play. All you do is put a 220 circuit to it, and these backfeed through your main panel and your electrical panel.
Okay.
You were talking about what kind of agreements you got to sign with your power company when all this takes place.
Your electric provider, you need to sign an interconnection agreement.
Because you're actually providing power back to them at certain points, aren't you? Putting it back on the grid. You're
tied to the grid, and these have to be UL 1741 certified. That's what you look for if you want to tie to the grid.
That's a UL 1741, and that's what's mandatory.
Whether it's solar or wind or anything, if you're tied to the grid, it's got to meet those certifications.
Okay.
Or they won't let you tie to the grid.
What do they have any type of breakers or anything that go in between the grid and you for protecting your own equipment? I mean, what if, like, lightning hits the power lines or something like that?
Just good grounding's
Good grounding.
Good grounding's going to keep you there.
All right. We've got, you said you put in like 2,000 watt. Is that about the smallest you want to put in?
Yeah, that's about the smallest. If you're using 1,000 kilowatts, 1,500 kilowatt hours a month, that'll cut out about a 30-year bill.
Okay.
And if you're using up to 2,500 kilowatt hours, there's a company in Norman, Oklahoma called Berge. They have a 10,000 watt.
Okay.
Now these aren't small. They're not for the do-it-yourselfers.
Right. Well, I wouldn't think you'd have to secure that tower. I mean, if some of the wind speeds we get up here, 50, 60 mile an hour winds, what does that do to your tower? I mean,
you must have an engineered tower that's going to go with it.
Okay. So are most of your towers engineered? Towers
and foundations are engineered to the
specifications of the wind speed?
Yeah.
Okay. How much, what do they do? Just dig piers down and set like a slab?
It's according to whether you're going with a tapered monopole tower with no guy wires, or they have guy wire towers.
Okay. So, is there certain specifications for like the ones without the guy wires?
Yes, there is. They're engineered. You have to drill down 6 to 14 feet.
Okay.
It's according to the soil type, just like doing a foundation on your house.
Right.
You need to have it engineered and do a soil test.
And we were talking during a break that really the main thing that you do to save energy is make sure that you've got an energy efficient house. So you need to pay, I guess, attention to your insulation, your windows, how tight your house is, and all this, and do all that before you even jump off into this wind power.
Right. You come see Jim, and then you come see me.
All right.
Now, in the battery or the microprocessor, if you have the microprocessor, Do you store up any energy in this?
You do not store energy.
It's just running.
And that's part of the UL 1741 certification, that it's got to shut itself down to where when you lose the grid, you don't want to put power back on those lines to hurt a lineman.
Do you,
Okay.
if you lose power, is any breaker that you can pull so you can still have power in your house and take it off grid?
No, not with these systems. You'd have to upgrade to a battery-based system.
Okay. So, which is better? The battery-based system?
I like the new technology because
Then no maintenance on it.
I'm a telecom battery man, and those batteries can really give you trouble sometimes.
Well, yeah.
You have to maintain them really well. You have to put an equalization charge on them every month, and if you have one cell go bad, you can ruin your whole string. You can ruin $5,000 worth of batteries real quick.
So how many batteries are we talking about, like on a 2,000-watt system?
Usually a string of 6-volt batteries in series.
So you just make a string of 6-volt batteries. How many?
They even have 2-volt batteries, and then so if you want a 24-volt system, you're going to have 48 2-volt batteries.
Okay, all right. So you've got to have. Do you normally run on 24-volt systems or 48-volt systems, or
24 and 48 is industry standard.
Okay, so they do have standards. You don't just go out there and stick something in. Looks like we've got to take another break. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Are you having a construction-related issue? Do you need a construction attorney? If so, you may call the law firm of Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Kelly's family background in the construction industry has led to her focus in construction litigation, with over 9 years of experience practicing construction law in and around the metro area. For more information, you may visit www.kmdalegal.com, or you may call 972-434-8009. That's 972-434-8009. Kelly M. Davis and Associates. Principal offices are located in Louisville, Texas.
Alamo Appliance, 100 South Riverside Drive in Fort Worth, has been dedicated to serving your needs in kitchen appliances for over 35 years. They offer Genair, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and many others. Their experienced sales staff will help you make the right decisions at the right time. That's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701. Once again, that's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701.
Fort Worth Lighting, serving Parker, Wise, Palo Pinto, and surrounding counties with a selection of interior and exterior lighting fixtures. They also have ceiling fans, mirrors, and vanities in all sizes. A lighting consultant will help you with your decisions. For an appointment with a Fort Worth Lighting consultant, the number is 817-597-6320, or the website is fortworthlighting.com. 817-597-6320 for Fort Worth Lighting.
I'm Jean Gibson, and I love Weatherford, and I'm proud to offer Zion Hill Estates. Zion Hill Estates is a country development 5 minutes from the center of Weatherford, grocery stores, hospitals, banks, department stores, and in the Peaster School District. 1 acre lot minimums gives you space to spread your arms and enjoy country living. 2 or more acres will give you space for your horse or your goats. Gibson Home Builders, 682-429-2116. We'd like to show you the land and an energy-efficient model home. The number is 682-429-2116.
Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116. 429-2116. Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. Our today's topic is wind power. My guests today are Ed Smith with Renewable Energy Products and Mac Davis with MHD Construction. Mac is my restoration buddy here. He does all sorts of restorations on these old houses and fixes them up. Would you want to put, you said main thing is go ahead and get your house energy efficient. Make it where it.
Right, and you need to make sure you got a good site. If you've got 60-foot trees, you're not going to be able to buy a tower tall enough to get above that and get good clean air.
Well, you've got to be, you said 20 foot higher than the closest object within
within a football field or so.
Within 100 yards, huh? Mm-hmm. So you've got to get it way out there, away from your house.
It's got to get way on out there, and that's in case if you're in a valley, you just might not want to use wind.
Right. And you said if you went up, the higher you go, the more constant the wind.
Right. If say a 40-foot tower, if it puts out 400 kilowatt hours a month, you go to a 60-foot tower, you can put about 30% more.
So how many different types of towers are there? I mean, are there some, you actually probably build the tower according to the size of the generator, correct? I mean, you said you got some like 2,000 and 3,000 watters that actually could put on a 5-inch pipe and guy wire it.
Right.
That you could tilt down. How much maintenance is on these things?
There's not much maintenance. These are permanent magnet motors.
Uh-huh.
And mainly the only moving parts or where it swings around in the wind, the yaw bearing.
Right.
And just the bearings are mainly all that wears out on these things.
How does the power transfer without twisting up the wire? You got just like brushes in there?
Slip ring.
And all right, let's talk about some direct cost on this thing if we can. I know that once you get it up, you're pretty well maintenance free, especially if you're doing the newer systems without the battery string. Mm-hmm. And that would be what you're suggesting for most people to go, because most people don't want to have to do routines or set up a routine.
And you want to go with proven products too. You want to go with something that's been out there and it's proven itself, and you want factory technical assistance that's gonna be able to help you out. I don't work with any products that I can't get a hold of the factory in.
Right. Let's say if I want to get a basic system out here, and we're talking about you come out and like do a site survey and make sure that we've got the space for it.
Right.
And then do y'all actually measure the wind speed and stuff like that, or you just pull up charts?
The only charts, I don't know how they've got some of these numbers. I don't know if they take them at 20 feet or if they take them at 120 feet. So you really can't go by the wind maps, and it's hard to do a wind study. A wind study takes a full year and costs a lot of money.
Right. I know when they build airports, they do a direction type deal in how they position the runways, and so they do a wind study because so you don't want to be landing and taking off in crosswinds all the time. So you have to do some kind of
lift.
Yeah, this isn't an exact science.
No, but the main thing here, you wouldn't care what direction the wind came from as long as you had wind.
Right, and we got good northern and southern winds here.
Oh, I know. It's been blowing here quite some time. But let's say we're starting out with a basic system. What are we looking at in cost? You know, I mean, if I just want to get like a 2,000 watt system, and that would save me about 30% on my electric bill.
It's according to what you're using. You want to get your usage on down with energy efficient, say Energy Star products.
Right, right.
And a 2,000 watt system is going to cost between $12,000 and $15,000 totally installed.
Does it go? Are you looking at so many thousand per kilowatt?
Well, it's hard. Towers add a lot to these.
Okay.
So you really can't say it's going to cost $1,000 a watt or $500 a watt.
Depending on the height of your tower, huh?
Right.
So, I guess what would be the best system for somebody like me that I live out in the country and I want to supplement my power? Would you go with 2,000 watt, or would you go ahead and take the big step and jump on up there and do a 10,000 watt?
Someone should talk to someone that's got one of these systems first.
Okay.
Because they do make noise. Some different systems make different noises. Some of them make more wind noise than others, and some of them make more tower noise than others. Because you've actually got a motor on that tower,
right?
And some of these monopole towers, they're just megaphones.
Okay, so they do vibrate.
They do. If you want quiet, you need to go solar.
Yeah, but solar costs so much. And if y'all got any questions out there for Ed or Mac or I, just give us a call at 877-341-8950. That's 877-341-8950. We talked about direct cost. What about external cost? As far as what are some of the negatives about having it? Are there any negatives as far as to wind energy?
Not as far as I'm concerned. I'm selling these things.
Well, I think the only negative would be like I bought a sailboat once, and every time I went to the lake, the wind didn't blow.
Yeah.
You know? And so that would be my luck. But I've never seen. We live kind of up on a hill, and I've never seen it up there when I don't have some wind at all. And even when we don't have any wind, it's about 5 miles an hour, I think, or so. And
say in summertime, you've got an average size 3,000 watt unit, and the wind does die down. You're using your power at your home. How long will the batteries last for you? On normal summer day, you got AC, everything going, but
it's not going to last very long running AC. That's a real power dragger.
It really drags it down.
You've got to watch your consumption when you're on a battery based system. Mm-hmm. If you're not using the grid.
Well, I think on a battery based system, what you'd really want to use just kind of like your things that you would have, like refrigeration units, as far as your refrigerator and your freezer and all that. I think if you tried to use your HVAC system or heating system, I think it probably wouldn't last probably even an hour or two. I wouldn't think.
According to how much battery power you have.
If you did have plenty of battery power, AC is fine to run. I mean, as long as you got some wind turning.
Yeah, I've got battery-based systems that you can stack these inverters up to 3,500 watts.
Mm-hmm. And it'd run the whole house as long as you get some wind moving the turbine.
Right.
Okay.
And the battery-based systems, you can charge these batteries with solar. You can charge these batteries with hydropower. Oh. You can charge these batteries with fuel cells. They're really versatile, but there is more.
You could have both systems, and just using one big set of batteries.
I've got one set up in Burleson that I've got a battery based system, and it puts out 220. If I lose the grid, my computer doesn't even go down.
Well, that'd be the way the way most people want it. And a lot of people get the up systems and they're backing up their computers and all this stuff anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you had wind power and solar and had a little river flowing beside you, you get hydro also. So you get all three. So you need to buy you a piece of property out here with a waterfall.
Well, I was just thinking about that. He said tall trees. I said, I'm shot down. I've got 100-year-old trees, so I'd have to go 120 feet high to actually get enough clearance.
Or cut down the tree. Nah.
Cut down 10,000 a pop? Yeah.
No.
Do you live in the city limits?
Yes. I was going to ask you about that. Is there a restriction in the city limits?
There usually is. Most cities don't have an ordinance against them. Places like Louisville, they've just made an ordinance against wind power. And you really don't want it in town because they do make some noise and it makes some people mad.
How much noise?
Oh, okay. That would be the only reason. Why not?
Well, did they have any incentives, the government offering any incentives as far as wind power right now?
Not as far as wind. Since 1985, there hadn't been any incentives in small wind power like this. There is for these big ones that you see going down the road.
Yeah, you see the trucks carrying these 50 or 60 or 100 foot, whatever. 65-foot blades, and that's one blade. So I see them almost monthly rolling down the road. So they're
3 at a time.
Yeah, they're making some big wind farms out here, which we need to do. Like I said, the wind is the only energy we haven't tapped totally. That we've got more wind than we've got consumers. Yep. So if they could get away with the initial expense on installing them, then it's pretty well free from there on out.
That's right.
Yeah, as long as the wind blows.
And you want to check with any city or municipalities, homeowners groups. Homeowners groups also. Some of them put up static, some of them just embrace it.
Well, a lot of these homeowners associations that are around the area here, a lot of them won't even allow satellite dishes and stuff. So you got to really look at your restrictions and your homeowner restrictions before you'd get into anything like this. But like he said, you wouldn't want to put them in something like that anyway if they've got to be 100 yards away from your house, unless you had like 5 or 10 acres.
Well, I was just thinking, what if you have a small little community and they make their own farm?
Well,
they have the co-op water things for just small housing additions. This might be something that
I think
set up 10 of them.
You'd be selling electricity then.
Well,
and
the homeowners would probably love that in that little community. I mean,
well, how much?
But the PUC might not.
The actual noise, how loud are they? I mean, are we talking?
Wind studies of 40 to 50 decibels, but some people it's the sound of money, and some people it's like you're scraping your fingernails on the chalkboard.
Yeah. So it would
some
irritate.
people just don't like it, but it's not really offensive. It's not quite as much sound as an outside air conditioner unit will make.
All right, looks like we got a caller on the line here. Yeah, this is Jim Gibson. Can I help you? You're live?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I got to say, one thing first is that castle that y'all built for Casa, I thought that was the best one out there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We tried hard. And
I didn't win it, but I tried. But I thought I just had to pass that on.
Well, thank you, sir.
Now, my question was, is there like a minimum? I mean, let's say you lived in a small house or even a mobile home, and your average electric bill runs maybe $100 or so. Would that be, or is there such thing as minimum size to consider a wind tower?
Well, I would think if your electric bill is $100 a month or less, I wouldn't bother because your upfront cost is going to be $12,000 or so.
Right.
So it would take you 120 months to pay that back, which would be 10 years. And and I would think it wouldn't be worth it. What about you, Ed? I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money, if you got less than $100 a month, I think most people would try to live with a $100 a month electric bill.
If net metering was in effect like it was in California here, if we had net metering like California, that would make it better because they'll buy your electricity back.
Oh, okay.
Now, certain co-ops in Texas do buy your electricity back, but they won't give you the 13 cents a kilowatt hour, 15 cents a kilowatt hour that you pay. They give you what's called avoided cost, and sometimes that's only 4 or 5 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
So what you want to try and do is get your usage down to zero.
So if you broke even, it would be well. I mean, you could, but like I said, then there again, it would take you several years to get your money back on the initial cost.
And check with your co-op when you make this is called distributed generation. You want to check with your co-op because co-ops are exempt from some of the laws in Texas. They get to make their own rules. So some of them will charge you a $10 or $20 a month meter fee. And if you have a smaller wind turbine, it's only saving you $60 a month, $75, $80 a month, and you're going to take 20 off of that. That's a big chunk of it.
Yeah. Well, you answered another question I was talking about, location and stuff, because, I mean, if you're in town or in a small, these gated, things, you can't. I guess you can't put those things in there.
No, not unless you owned quite a bit of property. And like we were saying, a lot of these homeowner associations, they won't even allow you to have a satellite TV. If they've got cable in the area, you've got to use cable.
Y'all kind of answered that one already.
All right.
But I think y'all have one of the best shows out there.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for calling in. If you got any other questions, please give us a call back. We'll talk to you later. But on, I guess most people, what size area? You said 100 yards, so you're probably looking at people with 5, 10, 20 acre tracts that would even have to consider this, wouldn't it?
Well, that doesn't have to be your property. It just has to be above 20 feet above the nearest obstruction.
So,
and some cities will let you put them up, but they'll only let you put them up as high as you can build a separate structure. So you can't get good smooth wind. You're going to get turbulent wind.
Because you've got to be 20 foot higher than the nearest structure within 100 yards.
Right.
Within 100 yards.
Right.
So that's quite a ways away. I figured you'd have some kind of formula that you'd work like you do on chimneys, where the
so many feet above,
so many feet above the roof line.
This one's the higher the better.
Well, yeah, but
which makes it that higher.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
You never would want to put one next to a house or attach it to a roof and just run way above it.
No, you wouldn't.
That would just be noise prohibitive.
And it'll void the warranty too.
Why? I mean, what?
They must be on an engineered tower.
Oh, okay. So you couldn't engineer one next to the house. I mean, what if you? Is there any particular reason it's got to be 100 yards away? Is that just so there's no interference to the wind itself?
That's just the nearest obstruction within 100 yards.
Right, but
so if you've got a 20-foot house within 80 feet, you want to get at least 20 feet above that house.
Okay, but the 100-yard rule away from the house is not really.
No, it doesn't. It can be close to the house.
Okay, so it can be within 50 feet or 100 feet.
Yes, it can.
Okay.
What's the life expectancy of some of these units? Just the smaller ones.
The Bergies, I've seen Bergies. They just took one down that was put in 1982, and it was still running.
Does they get weaker?
They don't get weaker.
Okay.
These are permanent magnet motors. The same output.
What is there to wear out on them?
Bearings mainly.
Bearings. So
just a turning bearing.
Right.
Directional.
So how often? And you said there's virtually no maintenance to them. I mean.
No, you want to do an inspection every year, 18 months, and get your binoculars and look at it and see.
Okay, that's the inspection
right.
of binoculars, because I was wondering if you're on a 60-foot tower or a 120-foot tower, how do you get up there?
Some towers are tilt up.
Okay,
you can tilt them up with your tractor.
So just lower it down and tilt it back up.
And certain towers you can climb.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that sounds good.
Do they have people that do that?
You can hire me to climb it.
All right. Well, you wouldn't catch me up there. Not on a tower. I don't mind flying planes, but I'm not going to be climbing up a tower. I'm too old for that. But what about dangers like to wildlife, birds, and I've heard that in certain areas, like on coastal lines and stuff, they've had problems with killing seagulls and stuff like that. They've
about got those problems worked out. There was one wind farm in California that gave the industry a bad name. They put them right in the migration
path.
Right.
Okay.
And
so if you're going to build a big farm like that, they've got a lot of studies through the EPA and through the federal government and stuff like that. They're going to have to study migration patterns. They're going to have to study wind patterns. They're going to have to do a lot of preparation to get one of these wind farms started, correct?
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be a year-long or 2-year-long study or more, or 10-year-long study. What if they change migration route and fly right through the blades? That's just their fault, huh, right?
Yeah. Now, a farm in Texas, you're saying that they don't buy it back in Texas.
Why would?
Or is this a supplement or what? Well, I have one here.
Well, what I've heard is some people, they wouldn't buy it back, but everything they do is just credit your account. So you build.
No, I mean, as a wind farm.
Yeah. Oh.
If you wanted a wind farm in Texas, there's some kind of,
Well, I think if you're a wind farm in Texas, you'd be furnishing power, so somebody would be buying it from you.
Yeah, that's a whole different area than what I'm doing. I'm doing mainly residential, the smaller stuff.
Yeah, but on a residential area that you're furnishing power and you're tied to the grid, How in Texas they just credit your account, and is that normal? And they don't write you a check if you get too much back to them, do you?
Now some co-ops will, like Austin Energy down south. Down south, and public opinion is swaying.
Well, yeah. I would think as energy costs go up, a lot more of this wind power is going to be available. I mean, people are going to be willing to spend a lot more money. It looks like we got to take another break here. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Are you looking for a law firm with an understanding of the construction industry? Kelly M. Davis & Associates experience includes home inspections, construction contracts, disputes with builders, and helping subcontractors or vendors that have not been paid for their services. For more information, you may visit www.kmdalegal.com or you may call 972-434-8009. That's 972-434-8009.
Kelly M. Davis & Associates. Principal offices are located in Lewisville, Texas.
Fort Worth Lighting, serving the building professional in Parker, Wise, Palo Pinto, and surrounding counties. Services include planned takeoff, site walkthrough, and delivery. For an appointment with a Fort Worth Lighting consultant, the number is 817-597-6320, or the website is fortworthlighting.com. Again, it's 817-597-6320 for Fort Worth Lighting.
North Texas Basements, 817-770-2768. With over 30 years of experience in residential construction, add extra living area, storm protection, and extra room that will be easy to heat and cool without needing a large piece of ground to build on. Think about having a basement in your next home. North Texas Basements, 817-770-BSMT or 817-770-2768. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116. Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. My guests today are Ed Smith with Renewable Energy Products and Mac Davis with MHD Construction. We're talking about wind power, wind generators, and I guess what are some of the other drawbacks? I mean, as far as that was one of them we mentioned was possible killing birds and stuff like that. And as long as they're not in a migratory path, all you're going to do is wipe out one or two that just kind of stray through the blades, right?
Yeah, your cat kills more birds than these wind turbines will.
What about bats? I was doing some research, and they were saying that some of the bats flying around them may be harmed also. But you know, I would think that would just kind of be a fluke because bats are flying pretty well by sonar, or not sonar, radar. Well, it's sonar, yeah. Yeah. But so they can hear the blades flying through the air, so they go around them. But
I haven't heard any studies on that.
Well, it said that they had some bats killed on some offshore and nearshore facilities back in 2004. But I think they've pretty well solved that
Bats
problem.
have updated their sonar.
Yeah, they've updated their sonar to detect the blades coming through the air. All right. Give us some information about, as far as you said that they need to get references, and there was some information that you could go to or a website you could go to, or just discussion groups.
Yeah, if you're going to get a small wind turbine installed, there's no certification program, so you want to check out your installer thoroughly and make sure he's got contractor's insurance.
Make sure he's got good references. mean, you want to call, I guess everybody, how many people? 4 or 5 people that he's installed for?
At least.
That's about the only way you can check them out.
That's about it.
Are there any associations that their members are of that can acknowledge their proficiency?
They're working on that right now.
Okay, so there's no real, like builders have a builder association, like the National Association of Home Builders and the Texas Association of Builders and local groups here. There's not any real association for wind-powered people?
There's a NABCEP, NABCEP, North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners.
Okay.
And that's a certification program for solar installers. And they're working on an outline right now for small wind installers. So I think within the year they'll have guidelines to where you can look up and find a certified wind installer.
Well, I know they're improving the technology and improving the design of these things as they go along. Like I said, I pulled this stuff up several months ago when we were doing a show on solar, and they've even improved some of them since then. This has like been 4 or 5 months ago. They've improved the design. I was looking at a bunch of them that looked like the old aeromotor windmills. Looks like Ace says we got to take another break here, a short break, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Are you looking for a law firm with an understanding of the construction industry? Kelly M. Davis and Associates experience includes home inspections, construction contracts, disputes with builders, and helping subcontractors or vendors that have not been paid for their services. For more information, you may visit www.kmdalegal.com or you may call 972-434-8009. That's 972-434-8009.
Kelly M. Davis and Associates principal offices are located in Lewisville, Texas. Croft Foam Insulation and Protective Coatings has over 25 years of experience in the spray foam business, serving residential, commercial, and industrial clients. Croft Foam specializes in open and closed-cell polyurethane foam applications to construction, refrigerated trailers, and even castles. Croft Foam is a Fort Worth-based company. You may reach them by calling 817-482-1664 or email at foamman@swbell.net. I'm Jean Gibson, and I love Weatherford, and I'm proud to offer Zion Hill Estates. Zion Hill Estates is a country development 5 minutes from the center of Weatherford, grocery stores, hospitals, banks, department stores, and in the Peaster School District. 1 acre lot minimums gives you space to spread your arms and enjoy country living. 2 or more acres will give you space for your horse or your goats. Gibson Home Builders, 682-429-2116. We'd like to show you the land and an energy-efficient model home. The number is 682-429-2116.
Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116. Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. My guests today are Ed Smith with Renewable Energy Products and Mac Davis with MHD Construction. Our topic today is wind power, and we've been talking about wind generators, wind turbines, and, these larger ones. I was just reading some documents here. The ones that they're putting up the big blades on, they're I think they've got equal to or less than 6.9 miles per or meters per second. I don't know how much that would equate to miles per hour, but so that wouldn't be a great deal of wind to start turning those turbines. Plus, they weigh quite a bit, so I would think once you got them turning,
kind of rotate on
their
own.
They would just rotate on their own. So a little breeze goes a long way.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about you and your company and how people can get in touch with you?
I'm at 1151 West Pioneer Parkway in Arlington. I'm not at the office much. I'm usually out in the field or in the shop. You got a phone number they can reach you. You pretty well work out of your cell phone, don't you? It's 817-861-1488. You can call anytime. Stephanie's usually in the office about half a day. Okay. So usually 9 o'clock to about 1 o'clock, I've got someone answering the phones. And so what's the process if I called you like tomorrow and said I want to put in a wind generator and I want to tie it into the grid? What's the first thing I need to do? Go down, contact my power company. Right. Fill out all the paperwork. It's called an interconnection agreement. Okay. I call and I get an interconnection agreement. And then do they have to come out and inspect the site? Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. They have certain requirements. You have to have a lockable disconnect switch within 10 feet of your electric meter. Okay. And what other restrictions are they going to place on you? I mean, not a lot. You just have to follow code. Okay. So everything, and who's going to check and make sure you're following code? I mean, is there any agency out there that's going to check you other than the power company itself? Not other than the power company, no. Unless you have to pull a permit for it, and they'll probably come out and inspect it. Do I need to have my master electricians come back behind you and tie into the grid, or do you actually tie into the grid yourself? I hire an electrician to do that. Okay, so you have somebody that's qualified that comes out and actually ties you into the grid and makes sure everything right up to snuff and not going to burn your house down. So okay, I've got that, and like if I'm just wanting to supplement power and try it out, you're talking, you said about $10,000 to $12,000 or so for like a 2,000 watt system. That'll put out about 450 kilowatt hours per month. Okay. And a 10 kilowatt system like a Berge, that can put out up to 2,500 kilowatt hours a month. So that'll just about run your house. So what people need to do, I guess, is just look at their electric bill and see how many kilowatt hours they're using per month. Right. And decide on what size system they may need and whether or not it's even economically feasible for them to buy one. Get your usage down as low as you can before you start thinking about wind power or solar. Yeah, well, that's what I try to preach to everybody. Yeah. That's all we build is Energy Star or better houses. And so we're preaching energy efficiency, insulate, good windows, good air conditioning systems, the moisture problems and all this other stuff. How have you been doing here, Mac? I mean, pretty good. Got any big restorations going on? No, everybody's kind of in limbo. Well, it's getting close to that point. They're getting all restored. I noticed there's a bunch more up for sale here in town. Well, that's good. Usually when someone else buys it, they want to update or go to work, take it back to original. Whichever way they'd like to turn it, that's the way I like it. Most of these people are buying these out here. Are they actually moving into them, or are they most of them are, yes. Most from the Metroplex. Coming out here to the big city of Weatherford, huh? Yes. Yeah. And they say, whoa, your traffic's getting as bad as ours was. Oh, no. I was watching the traffic this morning over in North Richland Hills area. That's a nightmare. Oh, no, that's another animal. No. Well, Ed, it's been a pleasure having you on the show here today. And you want to tell them one more time your phone number? 861-817. I'm sorry, I'm at 817-861-1488. I have a website, littlegreenenergystore.com. littlegreenenergystore.com. That's littlegreenenergystore.com. And Ed is with the Renewable Energy Products out of Arlington, Texas. And I guess I'm probably going to call you here not too distant future because I'm real interested in this. I think it is the way to go.
I've looked at solar power, and solar right now for the watt is just, it's so upfront loaded that and they've got a bunch of new products coming out now with nanotechnology, the thin sheet technology, and they've even got some paint that has got the nanotechnology in it that they're going to be able to paint on the roof.
I can't wait to see some of this work.
Well, they've got it out now. They just haven't got it on the market yet. Mm-hmm. But the thin sheet technology, right now they're using silicon-type panels, which are quite big and bulky, and I think it's running about $9 a watt or so. And they're saying this thin sheet technology, we're going to get it down to probably somewhere around $1 a watt on the upfront cost. Now, you're talking about upfront only. Once you've got it in place and all that stuff, it's downhill from there.
Yeah, just keeping your batteries up at that point.
Right. And that's one of the main things on solar is it doesn't work at night. So you do have to have a battery string.
That's true.
And that's what I like about the wind power, because it works at 24 hours a day as long as the wind blows.
I was about to say, as long as the wind dies down at night a lot. So
right.
Kind of in the same boat.
Well, we're going to have to wrap it up for this week, and I guess we'll see you back here next Tuesday, same time, same place.